just that the biggest active fault line is called the New Madrid, and that runs through Tennessee. They're saying that when that fault goes, that it will just be complete devastation in our area.
Wow.
Memphis, Nashville, buildings just falling over. Isn't that scary?
Ford Thurston, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Between Two Fenders. I'm your host, RJ Ronquillo, and today I'm joined by my extra cool friend, Mr. Ford Thurston.
Hello.
Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, man, this is awesome. Neighbors.
That's right, you only live down the street.
It's crazy.
You have probably the coolest name of any friend that I have. Is there a story?
And you have that last name that's hardest for me to pronounce.
It's true. But I've been accepting different pronunciations now.
So cool and hard.
I think there's 5 different pronunciations of Ronquillo now. This is in no way affiliated with Fender Musical Instruments, or they're not supporting in any way. They should be.
Played, but not supported.
And also, it's not sponsored at all by Hintwater, even though I'm a huge fan of Hintwater.
I've always been crazy about the watermelon myself.
That's my favorite. I'm giving it to you because
you're
my guest, even though that's the one I wanted.
Yesterday I was battling dehydration, and today I'm not.
See, because of Hintwater, hook me up, please. So,
it really is great.
You're a professional musician here in Nashville, and we met. I think you got on my radar because I started seeing videos of you on, demoing gear and demoing pedals. Before you got into that, how did you get into playing music?
Well, before this all,
take us all the way back to your very first experience.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna say, honest to God, it's really weird. Got the Boston First record.
Yeah.
That hit the turntable with my parents. I was 5 or 6. I can remember clearly getting on the couch and jumping around playing air guitar. Oh. And we didn't even have a good TV. You know what I mean? I felt the spirit of rock and roll.
So you knew.
I felt the spirit.
Sound.
That thing starts the organ and it kicks in. Any kid's gonna, basically have a seizure when he hears this.
Yeah.
And air guitar commenced, and then my dad, if I would change the channel, because my dad smoked pot, so he would just kick back.
So it was his Boston record.
It was his. Does that make sense?
Freaking awesome.
He'd be pulling a bong hit or something, and then he'd be like, "Hey, if you change the channel for you, I'll buy you a record." So then they're like, "Cool." I'm like, "All right, cool." So we went to the store, and Van Halen 1. I got that when I was like 6 and a half.
Wow.
Came out. Yeah, we got that. That came on, and I thought that it's like a cliche that the world is. When you hear Eruption and you've just only heard Scream Dream from Ted Nugent, you hear this.
Is he in the stack?
I made Guthrie Trapp listen to. I made him listen to Eruption last night at 3 a.m. I'm like, he had never heard Push Comes to Shove solo. You know what I mean? So this is getting off wind, but
Guthrie Trapp is a great friend of ours. Amazing guitar player.
He's like a Nashville legendary kind of guy. But so, that, and then it was then I got Back in Black, and then all of a sudden, I found Jimi Hendrix was right in there, and I had the first Jimi Hendrix record, and then it was already you could tell the difference. And any time that my older brother would bring something in later, I'm just gonna jump ahead; it'd take too long. If he got Yngwie, it sounded too learned to me.
Yeah.
Even though
you liked it rough around the edges.
I liked it rough around the edges, and then it was I got the Hendrix, and then I had Jeff Beck. We had Wired at the house.
So were you playing guitar at this time now?
I started playing. I figured out that people actually can learn how to do that because it sounded unachievable.
Yeah.
And I was in Texas, and I went to a garage sale, and I bought a piece guitar made by Global, and it was just a piece of crap. And then I built a tremolo out of an erector set. Remember the yellow erector set containers?
How do you build a tremolo out of an erector set?
I took the parts and I stuck it underneath. Imagine if you stuck the bridge under the ABR, on a normal guitar. So it had a little bridge, and I would stuck the piece of metal under there so you could go.
What? Oh, so it was like a lever, basically pushing it.
It was pre-B bender. It was an E bender,
So whatever string bend.
Yeah, so that, and then got more into blues right around 13. I was still listening to Van Halen. I had a deep love for that guy because to me, it's
I think once you get into Van Halen, it's just it's always something that you go back to. Even for me, you go into blues and jazz.
Yeah.
still a Van Halen fan.
It's just the sound.
Yeah.
It still resonates through. I can't tell you, though, which is weird, but as of late, I feel that like everyone's so over Dave just because he's just never just grows up.
Yeah.
He's still like this ham bone, right? And it's like
Sure.
now all of a sudden we're all secretly being attracted more back to Sammy. Are you feeling this?
So I saw Van Halen when they got back together with Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And it was okay.
Right.
I just, I think Dave developed into this whole Vegas persona, which I understand. It's cool, but if you compare that persona to what he was, Van Halen to, the first early Van Halen stuff, even up to 1984, that was cool. And then suddenly you've got like, your grandpa, not saying that he's super old, but he just kind of has that old person mentality.
He's like a dog, sometimes like, I love my dog, right? I'd be like, sometimes I'm like, she's never going to get any smarter. And sometimes I'm hoping Dave, like, when is Dave, okay, here's a good analogy. Steel Panther. That singer sings his ass off. They should hire him for Van Halen, because that would be the best. But with that being said, he sings to tracks. He sings with backing tracks. And no one cares, because it sounds incredible. They have huge background vocals. And everyone's falling away from tracks. But the difference with seeing Van Halen with tracks is that we're already only going for a nostalgia trip. Yeah. I want to go and get my head blown off, and I don't care how you get it done. Why is David Lee Roth not singing to tracks and injecting the fake screams, because he lost that part of his voice?
Well, speaking of singing tracks, Kiss is back on the road.
Yeah.
And like the big talk about that is
Paul
Stanley's lip syncing to pre.
Who cares?
Stuff.
Give the guy a break.
It's a show. Would you rather, at this point, like, I'm a huge Kiss fan. You're a huge Kiss fan.
Yes.
I would rather see a show,
yeah,
a good show, rather than get really depressed and seeing like a hero, like, not singing well or not performing well.
I mean, okay, if you want to see him sing like he should be, well, just watch Dawkins. Because like, have you seen him sing? I mean, we're turning this into like a rip fest, but like, I'm not meaning to do that. It's just he still does it. It's wild, but the thing is, it's show business. It's rock and roll, and it's not. I mean, pyrotechnics and fire and shit. It's like there's nothing wrong with that. Now, if I go to see Stevie Ray Vaughan and he's singing the tracks, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Kiss, they're already in clown makeup.
It's a show.
It's a show.
They're already in makeup. Which do you want to see Celine Dion?
I don't care.
Yeah, right? Paul Stanley is not Celine Dion.
Kiss, you can see them in Nashville, Tennessee on April 9th.
That's right. I'm going.
I'm going there too.
I'll see you there.
I'll get us hooked up, man. You're going with me. I got the meet and greet hooked up.
Okay.
I know the guy who designed the show. We're going.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm excited.
We're meeting him.
You started out as a rocker, much like me.
Totally. Yes.
And then you kind of dived into like classic rock.
Yeah. It's like, it was weird, but when it goes to be like, that guy there, deeply enrooted in there, this is where my blues started. Okay.
You're a Texas guy.
No, I'm Pittsburgh.
That's right.
This guy here, I had the first ZZ Top record. Blue Jean Blues and all these songs, to me, you know what I mean? The first ZZ Top records, there's no better guitar sound that's ever been recorded. To me, that's the Taj Mahal, and he's just the greatest.
So were they the gateway to the blues?
It was.
When I heard Clapton was mine.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that would be in there too. But I mean, this would be, I don't know, something about that guy, man. Billy Gibbons, it's just so.
I think he kind of bridges the gap between blues and like hard rock.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But when he plays a real blues is when he shines his best, because it's just so authentic sounding. He sounds like an old black dude just throwing down. He has the swagger.
He's got the soul.
He's got the soul. You can't learn that.
That's true.
Yeah.
So from blues, like I know you've got some learning in there.
Yeah. Because I listened to Metal Fatigue a lot, which was weird.
Really?
Yeah, but like I was too lazy to actually sit down and learn it. But it doesn't matter because, we were putting food in your stomach.
Metal Fatigue is Alan Holdsworth.
Yeah. Well, you are what you eat. So I would listen to Holdsworth, and I liked listening to like Schofield, like Blue Matter. Mm-hmm. And this is like the...
How old were you?
14, 15, 16.
Okay. Listening
to Wired. Driving my car without a license. I used to drive around Pittsburgh without a license at like 15 and just like listen to like Jeff Beck and the Tape Deck. And
so you were like totally immersed in playing guitar at this time.
Oh,
usually when you start veering from hard rock and metal and blues into like fusion, basically.
And if you're playing too much rock and roll at 17, that means that you're probably just all about chicks too much at that point, right? Right? If you're,
is that wrong?
I did the Aquanet and the spandex.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
If I can find one, I'm going
You can
to
check this
flash
shit.
it right here.
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking, honestly, God.
So Alan Holdsworth.
Alan Holdsworth, but I liked the Flexible record from Steve Vai. The Call It Sleep, I think, is the coolest thing he ever did. That solo to me sounds like Jimi Hendrix just gone crazy. And in fact, I like the Junkie. And in fact, I met him at a meet and greet for like at a school thing, you know.
Uh-huh.
And everyone was asking him questions. It was like you could ask Steve Vai.
Steve Vai
questions.
came to a school?
He came to Duquesne University. It's a jazz school in Pittsburgh. Oh. And everyone was asking questions like, Steve, do you know who Stevie Ray Vaughan is? Yeah, I know Stevie Ray Vaughan is. Did you ever listen to Jimi Hendrix, Steve? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, hey, was the song The Junkie inspired by Meatloaf? And he was like, and all the kids were laughing at me, like, what an asshole question. And he goes, I actually can hear exactly what you're talking about. Good question.
You mentioned Duquesne.
Duquesne University. I never went there, but I did. I was a guest teacher there. So I did,
really?
It's like summer camps there. Yeah.
Did you study jazz or formally, or did you just kind of learn?
No,
it,
man. I mean, I just learned what a fucking 251 is.
Wow.
No. I grew up playing blues, man. So it was like, just standard things. Like in the Pittsburgh number system was so jacked up. Like, it's like I know all the changes and I know the scales. I learned all my modes and stuff, which really I think has kind of presented problems rather than just shapes. If you pay too much attention to that crap, you know what I mean? But no, I just really just practiced a lot and played the records and stuff. And, if I hear a change, generally I can make my way around it.
Yeah.
But it's really weird being in Nashville, you get your ass kicked so much that as of lately, I've just really have been submersing myself in really getting deeper with that rather than just ignoring it. You know what I mean? I think it's very important.
So here's a good question. So you were saying that you were learning your 251s so for any of you that don't know 251s, it's the ultimate chord change in, I guess, jazz,
right.
That you kind of learn as like the basis of improvising in jazz.
If you sound like you're in a dentist office, you got to know that.
Yeah. How do you learn that on your own? Or what tools did you use?
I think that it was by accident. And no, I know, just hearing it, and it sounds like a turnaround, you know what I mean? It's like playing blues standards, and sometimes you'd be getting thrown different artists' songs that would have that change, and even though you're on a blues gig.
Yeah.
And I mean, the weird thing is, like, it's so strange. Like, I remember, like, you'd play 1-4-5s, right? But then all of a sudden you'd play a 1-5-4. You'd be like, how come I don't sound good on this? You have to actually learn to outline the 5 chord.
Right.
So that's where that all started. And then when the 2 would happen, because Stormy Monday would have that whole thing, you know what I mean? Why isn't this work? What do you do here? And the typical wanker would just keep playing the same old scale and not realize, just move it up, man, and play that right there. Maybe the 2 might become a dominant chord. Like, you know what I mean? And it just, over time, it just started.
Interesting. Because for me, like, I didn't really know about the 251 until a teacher told me, like, okay, we're gonna learn about 251s and everything. I'm like, what's that? And like, it's basically in every jazz standard ever.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, let's learn it. But like, that never got, like, I never heard it, or I heard it and I never gave it much attention until someone told me, like, that's what it is. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
Interesting.
It's amazing though too, is how, like, you hear a lot of, like, chicken pickers or like Guthrie Trapp. Like last night we were talking about, I was showing something I do. He goes, what you're doing is outlining a 2-5-1 with a lick kind of thing. Yeah. I'm like, oh, you don't even realize it. You can be outlining all other chords while you're just thinking you're playing over one static chord.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You be playing over an A dominant chord and be playing those changes and resolving back to them, and that's what makes it sound melodic.
Yeah, especially like in a blues, a standard 1-4-5 blues. Even though the band is playing just 1-4-5, it's cool to solo and imply that there's here's a 2 and a 5 and like other.
You can apply a 4 chord over top of a 1.
Sure.
Right.
Man, so how long have you been in Nashville?
12 years, and God, I wish I had moved here earlier.
What brought you here?
Just actually, I have to say, I was an old girlfriend of mine, and I was like the little big fish in the pond there in Pittsburgh, and playing for years, and I just was up there, and in my 20s I had bands that we would do really well, and it, unfortunately it was enough to keep me there, you know what I mean? Because you just think that someone's going to find you, and it's a total waste of time. And I was playing, and I was fronting like a kind of like weird bluesy country thing. And I kind of did that thinking, oh, I'm getting older. I guess I could do that and it'd be okay, you know. I was kind of like lost.
Right.
And my old girlfriend kept talking about Nashville. We broke up, and to get back at her, I packed my shit and moved to Nashville. I did. I came here, and I was like, it's just the best. I mean, you come here, and it's like there's just music.
It's a music town.
It's incredible.
It's a guitar player town.
It's amazing.
Which is one of the reasons why I didn't move here. Like,
because you were scared.
I was scared.
Yeah.
Right out of college in late 90s.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you this story?
Mm-mm.
So I went to Corner Music to go look at acoustic guitars because I was living in South Florida. We didn't have a lot of good selection there. So I'm like, I'm going to buy an acoustic guitar in Nashville when I go there.
And all the necks were warped because it's so hot.
No, yeah. And I remember specifically going into Corner Music, trying out the guitar that I wanted, and then just seeing like 2 or 3 lawyer-looking dudes, you know, they didn't look like musicians, pick up their, you know, other acoustic guitars and play the hell out of like Chet Atkins stuff. I'm like, well, if the lawyer guys play a guitar like this, I wonder what the musicians sound like. I'm not moving here.
The guy bagging your groceries.
Yeah.
Paper, plastic, or should I melt your face off with my Telecaster?
It's true, man.
It is. We thought it really is that way, but that's great.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
who
it's
cares?
not like now I know you shouldn't necessarily be scared because it's a competition.
Yeah.
Because everyone plays differently.
Right.
But there's gigs for everybody.
Sure.
You can play in a local band. You can do a touring thing. You could be a studio guy.
Right.
You could be a singer-songwriter thing.
Doesn't matter.
A YouTuber.
It's like it really comes down to it. It's only about, do you do this one thing that no one else does?
Yeah.
Are you Neil Young?
Yeah.
Do you do that?
Exactly.
You know, like, they say, how many, I'm sure people told you that. People tell me, why would you move there? It's where all the guitar players go. Well, if you want to play cards, man, you got to go to Vegas.
That's true.
And honest to God,
You got to go where the action is.
I still am not even halfway to where I want to get, but I could tell you right now, if I'd have stayed in Pittsburgh, I wouldn't be. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of great success in Pittsburgh. It was cool, but it doesn't put the fire under your ass.
I've found that since I've moved to Nashville, I've been more inspired as a guitar player.
Yes.
And it's just not necessarily just the guitar players in Nashville, but I've gotten way more into guitar worldly, worldwide, and just checking out other people and getting inspired by other players. And, I feel like I've made improvements since I've been in Nashville as a guitar player.
I think it's amazing. And very impressive.
This guy.
But you're like you can do it all. It's nuts. Well, you're the ultimate utility guitar player. You can play at anything. It's freakish.
But, you know why? And thank you for that. But
played in an amazing cover band. What was it?
No, I can't choose a certain genre that I like so much that I have to learn about jazz and blues and reggae and R&B and funk. Like, I just love that music.
Playing a reggae
much.
band?
I did. I toured with Inner Circle.
No way.
Yeah, do you remember that?
That's amazing.
Bad boys.
No, what you gonna do?
No,
you did not.
Do when they come for you?
That's incredible.
For like 4 years.
I did not know that.
Yeah. As I was saying, I think I saw you...
I'm thirsty. It's time for me to have a little bit of my... What is it?
Hint water.
Watermelon. I feel parched. Do you feel parched?
Yeah. Hint water is the greatest.
Goodbye dehydration.
Oh, yeah. Whew. I first saw you doing stuff for Digitech.
Yeah.
And how did you fall into that situation? Were you a gigging musician, then you hooked up with them? Or?
I had been playing, and I started going to NAMM shows and stuff, and then I became friends with Chris Van Tassel at Rocket Pedals, and did some shows for him. And then I have a good friend from Pittsburgh who's been with Harman Kardon, which is really the umbrella owner of Digitech at the time. They owned Studer and Soundcraft, JBL. He knew that like my mouth never stopped, so he was like, you'd be really great for selling this stuff. So he was with Digitech, and I was kind of like, I wasn't sure because Digitech.
Yeah.
But I had a fond, warm spot in my heart because my first preamp ever was the Overdrive 250, the banana yellow one, right?
Yeah.
And that was many years ago. So they came and talked to me. They came down. He sent someone at the NAMM show down. This guy had a black suit on, and he came down to the Rocket booth, and he's talking to me, and I'm sitting there, and he said, what do you like on the? Give me a demo. And I said, well, that pedal I don't like. That one's cool. You don't need that. And he was like, want to go to dinner? You know what I mean? So then we did, and he told me how they had all these new products for, and they wanted more of a cheerleader type guy, not like sales where like they gave me a job where I didn't have to quit touring or doing what I do. And wherever I was, I just take a bag with pedal board and go to stores. And I did it for like 4 years.
Wow.
And I had a lot of opportunities. And my buddy, Jeff Phillips, he's the guy that liaison that hooked the whole thing up. And I had making so many friends, and I really loved doing the NAMM shows. And like I went about it differently though. Like when I got there to do the shows, they'd say, "Oh, you have to play the top 15 minutes of every hour."
Right.
And I was like, "Well, there's people never stop." So I said, "We're not doing that. I'm just going to play the whole time." Cool. So I'd have tracks, and we made that trio looper thing, and I would just rock out and play, and it was like I was having a ball.
Yeah,
I love to keep going. I'm playing, and it really worked. And then all of a sudden, like everything just what happened was Samsung bought Harman.
Really?
Yeah, Samsung owned
the cell phone maker.
The cell phone maker. Yeah, they owned it. So then somehow they just crashed Digitech, and it sucked, but it was really cool. But everything happens for a reason. And then I got out of that, and I got a call like the next day from Randy Hauser. He's like, "I've been following you on Instagram and stuff. Come play guitar for me." And he's like, I had decided I never wanted to do that. But the truth of the matter,
country touring thing.
I didn't want to do it. But the truth of the matter is that Randy Hauser is so cool.
Yeah.
Like
he's a great singer. He's a great
dude, man. Like he never gets weird. Like I've played with so many singers in my lifetime. It's got to be hundreds, right? And sometimes it's just like different. I can tell when someone's never done enough bar gigs.
Yeah.
To where like they're upset because like, oh, you hit a wrong note this one time, or that cable broke or whatever. I've never seen that guy like bug out and like throw his guitar. Or like you see bona fide rock stars do that. Yeah. Because they never play clubs.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, my monitor's not working, and like let the whole arena know that it's that guy's fault. I hate that shit,
Yeah.
But I've never seen a dude like be like that. He's easy to be around. He pays me really good. And most importantly, he's like, play what you want. Like I play the songs, but you don't have to play sets.
So you can be yourself.
You don't have to play set solos.
Yeah.
He wants you to do what you want. He hired you to be what you are.
Yeah.
So it's definitely really cool.
That's super cool. And you're touring now?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
we're going on. He just has a record that came out, so we're busy doing that.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'm working on a solo record. I put a song out this past year, and I have.
Which
I used to get lucky. It's just like.
That's right. Yeah. You made a video.
Yeah. It was really campy.
Nice. You filmed it like downtown.
Yeah, it's really cheap.
What was that like?
It was cold.
Was it cold?
It was cold, yeah.
I thought it was in the summertime.
It was cold. It was like late November. I don't know what I was thinking, but
did you have to get a permit for something like that?
No, we just shot it.
Just like random people walking by, like, please don't get in my shot.
No, it was cool. But I'm putting out like a half instrumental, half. They're kind of like remakes of old tunes I like, half of them, but I completely rewrite the songs.
Yeah,
I have a couple of those. Or a few of those with some instrumentals that are kind of in the Jeff Beck territory.
Cool.
But more upbeat, instrumentals that make you want to move.
Yeah.
And then maybe
danceable instrumentals.
Danceable instrumentals, yeah.
I'm considering putting all my music on
that kind of
sound pages.
Those are amazing.
What do you think?
How much are these worth now?
25 cents.
I mean, did you ever actually use one of these?
In all of the Guitar Player magazines I bought, I tore them out.
Oh
That's why I'm so amazed that
these are
still
how
there.
they did these and these work.
It sounds fucking like a record.
Oh, wow.
It's not. You put this floppy record on top of a normal
incredible technology.
record.
We're going backwards. Look, you can crinkle it and the shit still plays.
Yeah. You have a list of your
Big time hero.
Yeah.
This guy here, push comes to shove, greatest rock guitar solo maybe ever.
Yeah.
I think. I liked him when I was a little kid. When I was a little boy, I wanted to be the spaceman.
Uh-huh.
I used to record on my cassette recorder from the record, the solo for Shock Me, and I would tell all my friends that it was me playing it. And they'd be like, no way! And you're like,
yeah, that's me.
I don't know what that is. I'm me. Meanwhile, I've heard rumors that that was like Rick Derringer or something like that on the record. I've heard rumors that it's not even
yeah, I'm sure there's a couple studio guys that played on those records.
Robin Ford.
Robin Ford, Willie. And basically the Tonight
Rick
Show
Derringer
band.
played on and Eddie Van Halen helped conceptualize the solo for Love Gun. Do you remember the one they put out? They had the Kiss faces on each Rolling Stone when they first put their makeup back on.
Uh-huh.
We talked about it on one of those issues. Eddie Van Halen had a lot to do with
the solo too.
with like Love Gun, something like that.
Really?
Yeah. We'll have to look it up online so we can.
I'm trying to remember what year Love Gun.
We'll have to edit it back in. 77.
So when did Gene
He was hanging out with them like right around that time.
Okay.
Because they put the record out in '78, so it was definitely
Around.
he was hot on them. Did you hear his story how he had left tickets for Van Halen at the will call for them to all go see Kiss, and he didn't leave one for Dave because he didn't like Dave?
Wow!
We need to see him
Could
right
you
now.
imagine them right now, just like either
yeah.
butting heads or like you just hanging out?
Gene knew that there was a problem. Very wise.
Gene Simmons knows all. So what's in the future for you? I see
Practice,
YouTube.
man. I had decided I quit like caffeine, alcohol, all that shit all at the same time on October 2nd. And it was part of my plan. I'm not like a heavy drinker, but when you start to get in, I'm in my 40s now, it's like what happens is it takes 3 days to, you go out with your friends and you have a bottle of wine.
I'm the same way. I had 2
can't do
glasses of wine the other night, and I woke up.
I felt like hell.
I didn't feel like hell, but I'm like, it wasn't worth it.
You don't sleep good.
I didn't feel great.
Your heart beats like crazy and shit. So I just kicked that all out. I decided, hey, wait a second. I made the decision to do what I'm doing. Well, at the end of the day, I'm gonna try to find out what my real aptitude is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't want to just be like I want to be able to emote with the guitar. I want to be able to show how I feel.
Right.
While at the same time, the hard work really is that I'm wise enough to know that I don't want to sound like anyone else.
I think that's the goal of guitar players ultimately is to be able to be the type of player where people can recognize your style.
Like one trick. Just give me one. I don't give a if it's the fluttering bar like Jeff Beck. You know that's him.
Yeah.
I need something more than a scale or some kind of fast way of doing it or whatever it is or whatever. Yeah. There's got to be one little thing that separates you. Like, you find yourself sometimes you'll practice guitar and just playing what you already know.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying to just accomplish one simple thing a day. Because if you take too much on, then your other bag suffers and then you're not going to retain anything anyways.
Yeah.
You just got to
concentrate on one.
Slow and steady, man.
Yeah. I kind of say it the same way. Like, I don't plan on practicing things, but like I might sit down and work on one thing for the day and then try to retain it.
Yeah.
Or revisit it another day. But just like kind of concentrate on like whether it's a technique thing or like, a 2-5-1 harmony thing or whatever. But that's a good tip.
It's crazy. Just slow and steady. I don't give a shit what it is.
You are a master educator.
Yeah, right.
And I've been using the term edutainer.
Edutainer.
Yeah.
I'm an edutainer.
That's right.
Well, I mean, the truth of the matter is, too, is that the thing that you do and I'm getting more involved in is it kind of puts you in a place where you have to continuously be growing because you have to have things to say or teach.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You can't be rehashing the same lesson.
I was totally putting too much out of my bag on my lessons. I'd be like, all right, I'll give you all this stuff. And it's like, well, I could have just showed you one little piece for a lesson.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from actually watching it back, going, wait, it's too much. Because I realized Joe Satriani is not watching my lesson. It's someone who's learning how to play guitar. So if I give them too much, they're going to be overwhelmed and walk away from the lesson anyways.
Yeah. Sometimes just one lick.
Yeah.
One lick lesson.
But it's a cool way, though, is you got to do the lick in a way that shows them where it comes from and where it applies.
And how to use it, yeah.
And how to use it as a transition or whatever,
Exactly.
That's my interest. I'm really into the future, actually, as a guitar, more so now than ever. The state of music's coming back, even though they're fucking with us with the whole Spotify thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as far as the way guitar's going with, YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff, it's fun.
Yeah. I think it's exciting, and it's almost like changing the definition of what it is to be a professional musician these days, because it's like, when we were growing up, a professional musician was either a touring guy or a studio guy. And now, like, a professional musician can be a YouTube guy or a demo guy or an online teacher.
Right.
And it was, just as important as being a well-known touring guy or studio guy.
Right. It's crazy.
It's
well,
crazy.
The greatest guitar player in Nashville doesn't even have email. Tom Bukovac. He doesn't even,
I only see him, if someone videotapes him and posts it on Instagram.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
there's Book. So I like to end each show with a 5-question lightning round.
I like it.
Quick
round.
answer, A/B type thing. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
And away we go.
Shit, I'm nervous.
335s or Les Pauls?
335.
Pedal overdrive or amp overdrive?
Amp overdrive.
Chicago blues or Texas blues?
Chicago.
Woo! That's from I would have thought Texas.
Sorry, man. I'm West Coast blues.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry. I'm going with Hollywood Fats all day long.
There you go.
Okay.
Nashville country music or Bakersfield country music?
Nashville.
Oh.
I do like it though. These are fucked up questions.
Sushi or sashimi?
Sushi.
All right. Ford Thurston,
Yes,
ladies and
that's tough,
gentlemen.
man.
Thank you for joining me, man. That was
Great.
awesome.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
I'll see you in the next episode of Between Two Fenders. We're going to do a little jam thing, and we'll put that in another video.
Cool. There you go.
And if you'd like to see more of these types of videos, gear demos, tone tips, and tutorials, click that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next time.